Hey guys, beginning of another week, and John is here with another beer review. You know how we roll. Um, Thought I'd take a break as well from doing the Beer 52 ones and the ludicrous ones from Emperor Brewery. So I'm going to do a supermarket beer, or one that I found in the supermarket. I thought this was pretty good actually. It is Salt. Um, there we go, cover my face and it might actually focus. This is their single hop series. So kind of in keeping with what I've been doing lately with the single hop beers. And this is Chinook. It just says it's a hazy. Um, I at 5%, I would think maybe they'll call it an IPA. Not sure. Let's see if it says anything on the back, eh? Um, Right. Craft mastery, down to earth delivery. Our name is Salt. After pioneering uh, the industrialists who built the mill village. They're from Saltaire, by the way, where we first called home, etc., etc. This is about the brewery, not about the beer. Ah, there we go. Down the bottom, the beer. The hop Chinook. Hops are the flowers or cones of the hop plant. I'm talking about hops. Okay. This series of single hop beers aims to showcase unique character of some of the favourite hops. This is the sixth variety, showcasing Chinook. Chinook hops are very popular in modern day brewing, produce resinous pine combined with bright grapefruit flavors, and a clean bitterness. So let's see what we've got in here. Where's the ingredients are over here. Okay, so we got water, a good start. Barley, oats, and wheat, hops and yeast. Okay, so it's a modern style beer. There we go. Salt. They're in Bingley, in Saltaire, up north. BD. Is that BD postcode? Bradford, maybe somewhere up there in the Midlands. Some people will call it the North, but it isn't the real North. Um, that is, of course, Northumberland, which is where my family are kind of from. You can't go further north than there unless you take a step into Scotland. That's where some of my other family are from. I even kind of like the logo. It looks very much like it would be a honey beer with that sort of honeycomb design. But I don't think there's any honey in there. It has even got a black top. But a silver bottom. Why don't they make black bottoms? What's wrong with black bottoms? Once you go black bottom, you don't go back. Right, let us crack this bad boy. It is a full 40 can as well, a big can, which is, I like it. There are bigger ones, there are pint cans around. But yeah, a lot of craft brew, because it's craft brew, go for the small cans, which is weird. Not all of them do, but a lot of them do. And it makes things very expensive for the consumer. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Right, let's get this bad boy into a glass. Right, so it is definitely a hazy beer. Let's see if it'll all fit in without it going over the top. Easy peasy. Oh, I'm getting the kind of grapefruity thing already. Right, let's do one of these and one of those and a cheesy grin. And that'll do. That'll do, you bastard. All right, so we got half a finger's white, fluffy head. I was expecting more, to be honest, but it's been in the fridge for a while, so can't have everything. Wow, that is, yeah, that is very kind of. There is a little bit of pine in there, but I'd say it's sort of grapefruity, um, green, but in a kind of grassy, resinous-y type thing. You know, a lot of people go for those obscenely resinous IPAs. And weirdly, the sort of resinous IPAs, which I guess I would call West Coast style, because they're properly bitter and hoppy that way, um, are all kind of very similar. I'm thinking the verdant yeast, um, whereas the tropical kind of Nipa style, the new style ones, are again very, very similar, but in the opposite way, creamy and stuff. This has kind of got a bit of both because Chinook theoretically is a kind of West Coast style hop, been around for a while. It's one of those sea hops, along with things like Cascade, Centennial, um, loads and loads of different ones. Chinook, obviously, in this case. And they used to do what was called a triple C hopped beer, which was an IPA. Well, they don't seem to do those so much anymore. Be really interesting because this does have oats and wheat in it, so it's kind of from a malt perspective, it's a new style beer, but I'm getting old school hops, if that makes sense. That sounds really weird. Maybe a touch of lemon and stuff as well. Very nice. I think I'm going to enjoy this one. If you haven't done so already, please think about subscribing to the channel. Click like. Join me in the comments down below. All of these things do help um, grow the channel and all that kind of stuff. Shame on. Interesting. So, initial mouthfeel, quite creamy. But as soon as you drink and you kind of wash from the front to the back of your taste buds, there's definitely that kind of grapefruity, pithy, perhaps a bit of lemony kind of thing going on. Then it descends into kind of more green stuff, but it's definitely not a green beer. So I'm quite liking this. Um, and it doesn't appear to be that bitter either, which is interesting. Um, and strange as well because it's not going kind of old school or new school in style. If I was to pick, I'd say it's more new school just because it's not as hoppy, it's not got that real obscene bitterness. So they've probably thrown quite a lot of hops in there, but it's going to be late hops, it's going to be whirlpool perhaps, it's going to be dry hopped within an inch of its life. You know how they do things. Oh look, and we've even got quite a nice foam line on the top there. That looks quite nice. Liking that indeed. Cheers and beers. Oh. Okay, so this time, as well as the pie, as well as the pithiness, I'm getting some pine in there, and a little bit more hop oil, a little bit more kind of resinous type of thing. And I believe that Chinook is quite a good hop to use as a dual purpose hop. So it works as a bittering hop, which is why the kind of a bit of business there. We've got a nice level of alpha acids, which essentially is where your main bitter charge comes from. But there's some nice fruity kind of secondary stuff, is if you were going to throw it in late or, like I said, as a dry hop. And that's where, yeah, I think I'm getting that kind of greenness from that pininess, that kind of resonance. It's not superbly resonant like some of the other hops are, but it's definitely in there. So it's a nice balance between kind of grapefruity pine fruitiness and then sort of resinous. Um, did I say grapefruit pine? Yeah, that's a good way of describing it. But I was thinking more it's the grapefruit versus the pine or versus the green kind of thing. It's like walking through a pine forest after the rain, or walking along, pardon me, a freshly mown grass when there's some moisture in the air. Probably the grass thing is more a Citra thing as opposed to Chinook, but I think the analogy of the pine forest, yeah, after a rain, you know, where there's little drops of rain just falling off, an arboretum or something along those lines. Um, yeah, really cool. You've even got a nice second line and some drippy. Yeah, the head isn't kind of as formed as perhaps I'd like. It's gone pretty quick. I know I haven't been drinking obscenely fast because this is a 440 can after all. Um, but I was expecting, with the addition of the oats and the wheat in there, in the grist, or the malt bill, perhaps I should say, I was expecting it to hang around a little bit more than it did. Um, Maybe that's an indicator that there is a lot of residual oil in here, um, because the oil kind of breaks up a little bit of the protein in the head. It's a difficult one to get head right. Maybe I should do a video on on how to give perfect head. Once again, a nice line there. That the top line and the second one are kind of thinning out a little bit. If we're on head watch or foam watch, oh, what's that? Sort of like cave paintings. This one looks like, I don't know what that would be. A kind of a buffalo falling off a cliff, perhaps. Um, what do we got round this side? No, doesn't really give anything to my head. But I've been back at work today, unfortunately, after having last week as a holiday. Um, and my brain is still trying to, work out what the hell happened. It's weird when you go off work and then you go back to work, you're kind of a bit, if you're like me anyway, you're a bit bamboozled, a bit discombobulated. Very strange. And what you need is a beer. And that one is not too bad at all. If you like kind of lemon, lime kind of beers, that one is quite a good one. And this I got at the supermarket as part of a deal. So you can get these beers at Asda supermarkets, and I think it's still currently a 4 for 3 deal. And I think all of these beers, I've had this one. There's another one from Salt, which I might do tomorrow actually. Um, and they're all £3, but 4 for 3. So essentially, you're paying £9 and getting 4 beers. Um, so that's under £2.5 a can, and it's a big can, 440. So I think that's not too bad. The days, I used to dream of pound a pint. Those days are long gone, unless, of course, you drink cider, which I do every now and then. Um, and cider, you can more or less get, well, if you get the special ciders, you can get them for more or less 50p a pint, which is ridiculous in this day and age. And some of them are like 5% for 50p for a pint. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, I'm going to let you get on with whatever you're doing. Hopefully, you're having a good week so far. Um, the clouds are rolling in the Great Isle of Thanet here, unfortunately, but the rest of the week is going to be bit of sun, bit of rain, and from what I hear, that might happen for the rest of the summer. But it is England after all, where I live, and that goes with the territory, so I don't mind too much. This has been your loving Uncle Jonna saying, please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and don't panic. Uncle Jonna will return with another beer review real soon.